Hello, paint partiers! It's Lisa from Lisa's Paint Parties, and we are going to be starting our paint party for tonight in just a little while. It is almost 6 o'clock, so we'll wait until just after 6 to make sure everyone who wants to join in will have the chance to do so. So, hope everyone's doing well. I'm just going to see how everything's going. I'm going to have the painting available so you guys can watch as we get started for today. I'll show you what the painting is in just a moment. Let's see. All right. Okay, cool. All right, so if you're joining me, feel free to make a comment here and let me know that you are joining. I think I've been able to change this up here. So if you're seeing me and you can't comment, I've just changed it, the protections on here, because we get a lot of like weird scammer things going on. So I'm trying to prevent those links from coming up. If you see any links that come up, please don't click them. If you can see me, that's where you need to be. It's a free paint party, and I will change my camera angle and I'll show you my canvas and we'll go from there very shortly. If you happen to see any like scammy links come up as I'm painting, just make sure, if you don't mind, just tell people like don't click them because I don't want anyone getting scammed. This is not what it's about. So yeah. Hey Lori, I'm excited about this too. Lori, I think it was Lori. No, sorry, it was another one, another person, someone else. I thought it was you, Lori, but I had this painting that was actually chosen this week was sent in by one of our paint partiers as one that she really liked. So if you guys see any cool paintings, any interesting things that you'd like to paint, send them over to me, and I might select them as one of our choices. And then so far, I think it was Lori. Actually, it wasn't Lori, but it was a different spelling Lori. She was actually the one who sent in this week's and also last week. So I actually won 2 weeks in a row. So pretty cool. So yeah, so it's very exciting. Oh, there you are. Awesome. Perfect. Yeah, there. That Lori. 2 Loris. Perfect. Hi, Martha. And hi, Liliana. Lily and Roberto. Fantastic. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are joining in today. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hi, Terry. Yes, it was you. Yeah, there was another Lori who commented just before you, and I know she's commented a few times, but you guys had a slightly different spelling, so it just took me a second to be like, oh, is it the same name? No, I was like, oh yeah, just different spelling. Hey, Michelle. Nice to see you back. Yeah, I'm glad that you're able to join us today, too. So yeah, so I think we'll be good to go. I'm going to get my iPad going. I had it charging. So I'm just going to get that set up so the picture can be in the screen as we're going. I still would suggest, though, if you grab a screenshot and just have that available for your own reference, because even though I'll have it so you can see it, it will still be a little bit more convenient if you have your own beside you. So this is the one we're doing today here. So it's Fall Reflection. So really cute. So it's going to be really fun, and it's not as hard as it looks if you're concerned about it. It's actually some really easy techniques to create that rippling effect in the water that makes it look kind of complex. So it's pretty cool. So I'll walk you guys through it step by step, and we'll get started in just a few minutes or so. But really, the way we're going to approach this, as we do with all of our paintings, is I always use acrylic. So we always start, you can see the ring light. That's not very helpful. We're going to start with the background. So this background is like a gray, so like a white and gray kind of feeling to it, kind of like a rainy day kind of vibe. So we're going to start with that. So if you want to get a lot of white and a little bit of black on your paint palette, you might want to get a little bit of blue if you want, just to have a little bit of the sky kind of peeking through that color, but it is very gray overall. And we're going to start with those colors. I wouldn't put any other colors on your palette just yet because acrylic paint will dry very quickly. So we'll just take it step by step and go from there. Okay. Hi, Suzanne. Oh, nice. Michelle, your kids are joining too. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Ava. I'm glad you guys are joining. Oh, you're in California, Lori. Cool. That's awesome. We have someone else who's joined as well a few times. She's my soul sister who also does painting, which I've just met her from this. Bonnie, she's also in California. She's in San Francisco. So maybe she'll be joining today too, hopefully. Hi, Patty. Hi, Bregan. Ah, cool. So your daughter, she said her daughter's finishing a painting now. She's going to start this later. Yeah, no problem. So with this, when it's live, you can't really rewind it, but then once it's done, then you can either like jump in, obviously, like now, or once it's done, you'll be able to access it. I'll have it on the videos tab, so you can watch it whenever it's convenient for you. So that will work nicely for us. Awesome. Okay, so I'll try to keep an eye on the comments. Just let me know as we're going through. I'm just going to try to angle this a bit. Oh, see how that did not, look at that ring light on that picture. It's not going to be our friend. But, all right, well, I don't know how that's going to work. That's pretty crappy. Okay, well, maybe, is it going to need to get in my way though? Okay, on this side it's better, but we'll have to see. If it gets in my way, but we can see it. Perfect. All right. Hi, Lisa from Washington. Oh, fantastic. Oh, Rula says you can rewind it when it's live. That's cool. I didn't know that. Thank you so much, Rula. That's awesome. I had no idea. So that's really good to know. So there you go. So if you're joining in later, you can rewind it up and it's all good to go. All right, so I have my coffee here, so you guys can, hopefully you guys have your drinks as well. Whether it's coffee or water or something a little bit more naughty on a Wednesday night. Yeah, absolutely, Maria. So this, here we go. Ooh, I'm going to try to make it, it's really weird putting it up. So that's the picture there. Okay, so if you guys want to grab a screenshot, you can do from here. Sorry, it's a bit, I'm trying to have it like straight, and every time I tilt it one way or another, it's like it's like a mirror and it's the opposite way. So it's kind of throwing me off a little bit. Okay, so there's the picture. Awesome. All right. Hi, Jackie from Nevada. Fantastic. Cool. A lot of our American neighbors are joining today. That's cool. Very awesome. Okay, so like I said, I'm just going to get some white on my palette. I'm looking to see, I might need to grab more white from my paint drawer. Oh, that black's pretty low. So I'm just going to get a little bit of black on there. So just for reference, like quite a bit of white, a little bit of black for now. And I'm going to be mixing it and getting all the kind of colors going on the actual canvas. I'm not going to mix a gray or anything. We're going to play with it right on the canvas, okay? I'm a little scared, honestly, of having the iPad on the side. I feel like I'm going to knock it into the paint. But that will make for some good live videos, I guess, eh? So, all right. So, like always, I have paintbrushes. So I usually have a few paintbrushes, but I have like a large, a medium, and a fine point, and that's really in relation to my canvas size. This is a canvas board. It's 11 by 14. I use canvas board, just it's easier for me to store the paintings. So feel free to do whatever works for you. The paints I use are dollar store paints, so I do them mostly because they're really easy and accessible. And cost-wise, it's great, and you can actually create really nice things with a very affordable paints. And I have 2 things of water just in case. I have some paper towel, so that's pretty much what I have ready to go. So let's start. So what we're going to do to start is we're going to wet our big brush, just put some water on it, and we're going to start to wet down. This is throwing me off a lot, having this here. We're going to wet down the canvas with just water. So you're just putting water using the biggest brush you have just to get water on the canvas. This is going to obviously wet the canvas, and it will allow us, when we put our acrylic paint on, it will allow it to spread really easily, and it will allow us to mix our paint, because we are going to mix it a little bit and have some gray going on. It will help that process quite a bit. Now, when you're doing this, you don't want to soak it. You don't want it to be like dripping wet. You just want it to have a bit of water so that it's wet, but it's not like dripping. Okay? I'm just going to go all the way down, but realistically, we're probably going to have to re-wet the bottom when we play with the water. It will dry pretty quickly, depending on like the room you're in too, or if you have like a fan or a heater or something, that will affect. That ended up dropping. That's okay. I'd rather that than the iPad anyways, but still not so great. Not when I'm starting to be detailed. That won't be a good thing. Okay. All right. You guys can see that well. Awesome. Hey, Bonnie. Nice to see you. You follow Bonnie too. That's fantastic. Hey, Tina. Awesome. So yeah. So now that we have water on there, let's grab some of your white paint and let's start. It's very boring right now because you won't tell. You can't see anything going on. But we're gonna get white paint on top of here too. Okay. But I promise you, we're gonna get some stuff going on very soon. Okay. And as you're putting it on, you'll see because of the water, it spreads very easily. Okay, we're just gonna get a little bit on the top there. And now I'm gonna dab a corner with my black paint. And I'm just gonna go like this. Which is like scary-ish, but it'll work. And then now, we're just gonna go from the bottom up. And then we'll pull from the top down. Okay, so now we're starting to get the gray going. And because it's raining, I know in the picture it's kind of hard to see, especially with the, because I had to take a picture of a picture, so it's not that great. I want the background to kind of come down. Like I want it to be almost like rain is falling. So let's get vertical streaks going on. A lot of it's going to be covered with the tree anyways, but I want the feeling of like rain coming down in the background. Okay. And then I'm just going to get white paint as I want to continue on, and I'm just going to add white in the bottoms and bring it up into the gray. So every time I kind of get more, I just get more white paint and I'm bringing it up. Okay. And don't worry about the bottom too much. We're going to be painting water anyways there. Okay, but get white paint and then bring it up. You can kind of go to more or less where your water is going to be. I'm going a little bit further than that. So my water line is probably going to be about there or so, like where my water is going to hit. So I'm just bringing it a little bit further down. And especially if you have a canvas that has, like a real canvas that has like thick sides on it, you want to paint the sides as well. Hi, Carol. Oh, you're in Niagara. That's awesome. Hey, Pemish. How are you? She can't stay, but she'll be watching it later. That's cool. Sounds good. I'm glad you will be joining. I'd love to see, even if you guys can't paint along in the moment, if you're watching it in the future, please take a picture of your painting and like add it, because I'd love to see what you guys have created. Again, this process is not just about trying to mimic or create exactly what's there. You want to have your own vibe and your own spin. That's why it's fun. Like I love when Bonnie joins and she adds her own creative spin on it too. It's really great to see. And I see that from a lot of you guys too. And that's what's fun about it. Like I want you to do this and to take away that this is really accessible. Right? Anyone can paint. Anyone can have fun with this. It's not really hard. It's just like, you know, like anything else, you kind of have to get used to it. But it's not like, oh, I have talent or I don't have talent, you know? You kind of just like, if you're having fun with it, then you should keep doing it. And as you keep doing it, you'll get better. I'm just putting a little bit more black streaks in some spots, just to kind of give it more of this kind of rainfall-ish effect. So it is actually painted all the way down here. You can't really see it so much because the white's kind of blending out, but it is having some different gray happening. I do want it to be darker on the top here, so I'm just going to add a little bit more black to the top. And then I'm just going to use my same brush. Also, just want to note too that I haven't wiped my brush off yet, so I'm using the same brush the entire time. I haven't put it in water, I haven't wiped it on the paper towel, I've just used the same one. I find the more I put it in water, obviously the more water holds on the brush, and I find that it doesn't work so well, like it kind of just waters everything down. So I try to not to do that too much. You'll also notice too, like when I'm doing this, I'm trying to get my strokes to go like off the canvas, because your sky doesn't just end like randomly. So just pay attention to when where your strokes are naturally kind of ending, and see if it's actually going off the canvas or if you kind of have a weird like end point. So it won't look as nice if you are doing that. Some white paint. Ooh, this is exciting. Haven't seen any scammers yet. I mean, it's early, but maybe it's premature. I'm excited right now, but. So again, alternately, if you want to have it more similar to the painting, here you'd be doing your strokes. You go more horizontal, and then you would have it darker, and then you would blend it into lighter. But like I said, I'm doing it in a vertical just to kind of get the vibe of like it's like some rain happening in the background, right? Also, another thing that you could try as well, just for fun, if you want to do something different too. You can kind of go in the background and kind of do like X's, and that will kind of look like there's like a storm and kind of cloudy and that kind of vibe instead of it being like that. So if you want, you could do that too. I might do that. Now that I said that, I didn't really think about that before, but I think I kind of am digging that. Just breaking up some of that, and I feel like that will make it a little softer. You know what? I think I'm going to change it and go with the flow, and I'm going to put some X's in here. So everything's still wet, and again, having that water on the canvas helps. Yeah, I think I'm kind of digging that. It's like a cool kind of texture to it. We did that on another painting before too, and I really liked it, and I've been using it. I'm just going to have some strokes of that, yeah. Kind of feels a little bit more like breezy and stormy, because when I think about it too, maybe there's a lot of rain coming down. You would have noticed these like 3 little drops, so maybe it's kind of just like a stormy day. Yeah. You know what? That is what I like. So on the wet canvas, I just went kind of like back and forth, like little X's, and I try not to make them too uniform. That's another thing that I tend to do a lot of, and I bet you guys are doing it without noticing, is when we paint, we kind of almost follow like a pattern sometimes. Like if you look at it, it's like, oh, they're very uniform, and if you look at like the sky and stuff, like that's not the way it happens. You don't have like sometimes there's patterns, but all right, cool. So that is the sky. So play with it. See what you guys are thinking. Okay, let me know with like maybe like a thumbs up or some kind of thing if you guys are feeling good for us to continue on to the water. I'll get started on it in a little bit. Cool. I don't know if you can see. I'll bring this a little closer too. So it's tricky because my light is making it look a lot lighter than it is. But see, it's actually quite, there's a bit of it's a light gray at the bottom. As soon as I go back to the light, like, my painting disappears. But yeah, it's just so you can see it a little bit better, hopefully. So it still has like, it kind of is coming down, but it's a little, has some interesting texture with the crisscrosses, which I'm digging. Touch that a little bit. All right. Fantastic. Okay, cool. So, thanks guys for letting me know that we're good. So let's start looking at the way the water is. So we're going to be using pretty much the same colors. We're going to start with the base of this kind of gray water, gray day, the sky being reflected in the water. But we're also going to get some of the other fall colors that are going to be thrown in here as well. But let's start first with just getting a nice base of the water. I'm just going to move it over a little bit. Okay. So with the water, sorry, I got some in my throat. Coffee in my throat. No. So we are going to go horizontal. So we're going to go back and forth like this to kind of get that feeling of the water. So let's start right away. We're just going to kind of carry down the color. We're going to have white. I don't know if I want to wet it again. You know what? I'm not going to this time. Let's just get white paint on here. Okay, so have your paint start it wherever you think your water is going to live. So I think mine's going to be about there. And your water can live similar, if you want it to be similar to mine, I guess it's about like a little bit more than a quarter from the bottom of your canvas. But yours can be lower, yours can be higher. It's really up to you. Okay, so let's just get white going. And my brush, again, I haven't cleaned it or anything, so you'll notice as I'm going, some of the black that's still on my bristles pops through, which works in my benefit for what we're doing here. If I wanted pure white, that would not work, obviously. Okay, there we go, nice, nice. Okay, so now that I have it full of white paint and some streaks of some paint that was still on my paintbrush from before, I'm going to get some black again, and I'm going to just put it on the water, like different spots, like that. Okay, and it's all wet, so this is like a wet on wet blending technique, essentially. And now what I'm going to do is, now we're just going to go back over it. I'm totally painting this iPad not good. I do want it to go off the side because the water continues. Okay, so now it already has, ooh, this light is like good, but it's also like really hard to see when I'm doing light. So let me bring it a little closer. Ooh, okay, there we go. So that's what the water is looking like so far. So I basically just put white down, and I put a few streaks of black, and then I use my same brush to brush over it. And so I'm going to keep doing that a little bit to play with the way I want the water to look. I still want some different colors to pop out here. I want some white to show up nicely too, so I'm putting white paint back in. And I'm just, you see, I'm just kind of brushing kind of in smooth strokes. But again, not trying to be super, what do you call it? Oh, I can't think of words today. I'm trying to just have them randomized. I don't want it to be really, or like, similar. Okay. So we do want this to have a bit of like a yellowy, orange, red reflection from the tree branches that we have not yet painted. And I do want to paint this in, I want to get this in now when it's still kind of wet. So I'm going to get a little bit of red. I'm going to get some yellow. And if you have pre-mixed orange, go for it. Otherwise, you can mix the red and the yellow together a bit to get you an orange. I'm going to use this for the sake of simplicity for the video here. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of lines in here of some of these colors just to bring some of the color, some of the reflection from this tree down into our painting here. So I'm going to start, I think, with the yellow. I'm going to put a little bit on my brush. Okay. And then I'm just going to do the same thing I did before, where I'm just going to put like little light, like streaks in the water. Kind of looks like someone peed in it a little bit. Yeah, it is, right? I know. Maybe I should go back. You know what? Let me see. 1 second. Okay. My old way. You guys tell me what's going on. Oh, maybe, you know what? Maybe I could... Is that better? Maybe that's better. Hold on. No, it's not better. No, it's not better. Okay, let me see if this works. I'm just going to go back to no ring light. How about that? I'm just going to put this on this side because I prefer it on that side. Oh no! I feel like I like having my canvas closer to me. Okay, I think I'm going to stick with that. You have a bit more of my shadow, but you can see the color a little bit better. So I think we're going to stick with that. It's a little bit darker, but it'll work. Okay, so it's hard to still see the yellow in it, which is okay, but you're just going to put little strokes in the water of yellow, and we're going to do the same thing with some orange. I'm just going to get some little bit of orange. And the one thing I'm doing is, if you notice, the leaves and the reflection kind of go in this kind of like, almost like a horseshoe shape. Right? So that's what I'm trying to do here. So I'm just bringing the color like around, and I'm kind of leaving this part not so touched with the color. It might, but I have no lighting on the top, which is the problem. So I'm not sure. Let me think. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take that away and see if there is a way, if I could have one of my lights kind of going from this angle, but I'll play with that afterwards. I was really hoping this ring light would help, which, I mean, it was a lot brighter, but it washed out way too much. I know there's different settings on it. Like, I tried to put like, I think they have like a blue and like a, I don't know, other setting. It didn't seem to work too well this time. Okay. I'm just going to get a little bit of red and do the same thing. So I'm just going to like lightly touch a little bit of red. And I'm going back quite a bit, like, to get more paint because it's still wet. And so what's happening is every time I touch the canvas, it picks up on the, like, the white paint and the other paints that I've put on. So it loses the red and it becomes a little bit more like pink or more orangey or whatever the case, right? And I don't want that. Okay, but we have kind of like, it looks I feel like it's so dark. Okay. I don't know how you can see it. Kind of what I've done so far. Okay. Okay, so I am going to wipe my brush a little bit because I want to get the red off. Use a little bit of water. Okay. I'm going to go back and get some white, and I'm just going to put a little bit of white back in here. Still painting the iPad. Okay, this is just to get the ripples and some of the color of the tree that we'll paint a little bit. Or the branch, I should say. It's not really a tree, it's a branch from a tree, right? Just want to bring this. So you can play with it however you want. If you like the red, if you want it to be a bit brighter, if you want it to dull it out a little bit. So you can kind of just keep touching back and forth between your colors just to have some nice... I really enjoy this part. Like, I love putting this kind of blend of colors on top and playing with it. I feel like a real impressionist painter kind of, you know? Like, it really is really fun. And having the color play, like, it's one of my favorite things. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop. We'll see. Every time I say that, I still continue on for a little bit longer. But I'm liking the play of it. Okay, cool. How pretty. I love it. It's so pretty. How are you guys liking yours? Hope it's turning out nicely. No one becomes too white again. Okay, while you guys continue with your water, I'm gonna see if I can move this ring light and see if I can reposition it as Angela suggested on the top and see if it helps. Oh, you guys can't see it there? Anyway. All my technology's in precarious places today. Gonna go right in my water. Can I go on top of my paint? Is that actually helpful or no? I just have to think about how I'm going to put this on here. Still watches it out quite a bit, eh? Okay, I'm going to have to move some of these. So while you guys continue on with your water, we're going to do the reflection very soon. I think I might do that now before we do our branch, which may seem a little bit strange. So that's too low, but I can grab something. There we go. I feel like if I hit this the wrong way, I'm gonna get hurt. Okay. Is that working for you guys. I hope it does look better from what I can see. I feel like I'm still kind of creating some shadows like with my own body on here, but I think we're going to go with that. Okay. Yay. Yeah, you can definitely see the colors more in the white. When I go like that, you can kind of see the white a bit better. Okay, cool. Thanks Lori, for letting me know that it was good. That's awesome. Okay, cool. So, there's a few other things that we're going to add here to the water. So obviously there's some leaves that are falling into the water. I think I'm going to do that after, when we're doing the leaves on the tree or the branch. But I think I do want to put in, do I want to do the reflection right now or do I want to do the tree right now? You know what? No, let's do the tree first. Let's do the tree first. I'll go back and forth a lot on this. But yeah, I will commit. We will do the tree branch first and then we'll play. Okay, get ready for your picture to look really creepy. We're going to put the branch in first, right? It's going to have a nice spooky vibe to it. And then we'll put some leaves in and it'll look nice and fun fall like. Okay, so I'd go with more of a, maybe a medium brush. A medium or a fine, honestly, whatever one you feel like you have more control over. Okay, I think I'm going to go fine, actually. Okay. And this branch is kind of like a, look like they use like a dark gray. I'm going to go right with just a black, I think, to get my branches in. Or you could use brown alternately. It's up to you, but I'm going to go with black, I think. Okay. So you can make your branch any which way you want. The composition in this painting is really nice because it kind of just swoops in. So your eye just kind of follows and then it like drips down, which is really pretty. So I think I'll probably stick with it being similar to that. So the branch is going to start on the side here, right? And then we're just going to have it come out. And it's okay when you do this part for it not to be like a very smooth line or a very nice line at all, because we're going to have lots of leaves to cover it. So don't stress or don't get too worried about painting a big black line across your painting, because there's going to be more that's going to cover it, right? So I'm just going to go over it a little bit because I want to kind of create a shape, because I don't really know where I want my leaves to live yet. And I want to make this look kind of cool. So it's going to be thicker out here, and then as it comes in, it's going to get thinner. So your branches go from thick to wherever the tip is. Essentially, it's going to be thinner at the tip, and it gets thicker as it goes out. So you can just paint all of that in. Using black or brown or like a dark gray, you can do that. Using a thin brush to paint in any sort of areas makes it a little bit tricky, but takes a little bit longer. Kind of looks like an octopus tentacle right now. So we should change it up. Put an octopus in here for Halloween. Like I said, you guys can do whatever you want if you want to do that, or you can add your own element. You can make it creepier. You can change up, put another element in here. You can put like some birds. You can do whatever you want. So make it your own. There's been some really fun things that people have added to their paintings. So it's fun to look. If you look at some of the previous paint parties, definitely take a look at some of the images. Some of them are very creative. Okay, so everything's going to kind of stem from this branch. So I'm going to do my best to make all the other branches not as thick as this big old one here, right? And we want some of them to come down, so we're going to have it come down this way. And again, I'm just going to thicken it up closer to where it attaches to this bigger branch here. Okay. And I don't want it to be super super straight. Like I want this branch to be a little like curvy and wavy sometimes, because natural branches, some of them are more straight, but a lot of them do have a bit of a curve or a bend to them, right? So I want that to still have this natural feel to it. Okay, and then we're going to have another one from here. We're going to have it come down like that. So apologies for the lack of like music or sound, but I don't want them to like mute my video. So if I use like copyrighted music or whatnot, they mute the video. So so when it's quiet, you just have to hear quiet, unfortunately. But it's better than not hearing instruction, I suppose. Okay, and then I want another one to come from here down this way. So hopefully you guys have music playing in your homes. Some branches come up from here as well. Okay. With that one, with that one, with that one, we have this bigger one here. We're going to have another one coming out here and up. Okay. And this one's going to have some more branches coming from it too. Okay, so you can feel free to add as many branches as you want. If you're having fun with this process, add more. If you're kind of sick of it, then you can stop whenever you so desire to, because we're going to put leaves and you can put the leaves all over it. I really like painting. I love painting trees and branches, and I love painting water. So this is like right up my alley of my preferred types of paintings. Like I said, I feel like I could do water and like the reflection and just the color play for hours. And just having like this creepy branch, so you can see how it can become like a really like creepy Halloween-y painting if you want it to go that route. Kind of cool. Okay. Just gonna add some more. We're gonna have some leaves all over her anyways, but I still want to have some branches kind of come out. Not too shabby. Cool. Just want to see where we want these to live. I'd say the more you do, the more realistic the tree's going to look, because you're still going to be able to see some of these branches once we actually paint some of the leaves. Okay. All right. I'm trying to think if I want it to go a little bit lower in the front here. I think that one's good. I think that's good. Yeah, I think actually, you know what? I think we're good. Yeah. Hey, Linda. Oh, you're in Niagara as well. Fantastic. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Gonna clean off that brush. So when I'm not using the brushes, I like to clean off the paint fully from them. So I take the paint fully off. I use water, then I use paper towel to get the paint fully off and to have them dry. I know you can leave them in the water. I just prefer not to. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start putting in all of these lovely, lovely leaves. And you'll see that there's a few things to this. So there's a few different colors. So I see yellow, I see orange. There's a little bit of like a darker orange, like a red, and kind of like almost like goes into like a brown-ish, like a reddish or an orangey brown, right? And if you notice, the yellow leaves are all like on the tops and on the tips, right? So it's kind of like almost like the sun, or like there's certain elements, like that's where it's brighter and that's where those ones kind of are living. And then orange is kind of in the middle, same with that red. And then you have the darker, this kind of browny, brown dark red is what you have. Really, it's more of a brown, I guess, more like a dark orange, is stuff that's all on the under, right? So that's kind of the shadow. So when we're building it, let's keep that in mind, that we want to only have like those darker leaves kind of like as an under, and that's going to make this look more realistic and more full. So we'll start, I think we're going to start with the yellow. We're going to build from the lighter colors, and then we're going to build the darker ones on top. So we can kind of get the yellow almost like everywhere, and then we can decide how we want the foliage to look. Also, if you'll notice, it's like bunches, right? So these aren't, it's not just like a bunch of, there's like a whole bunch of leaves. When I say bunch, it's not just like they're all over. There's like groups. There's like some like clumps, right? Of leaves. So that's how we're going to be building them as well. Okay? Just a couple things to think about before we jump in and put that. So if you need some more paint, I go up there and I'm like, oh yeah, there, I move my paint. So I'm just going to get a little bit more yellow. My yellow is particularly like watery, like really thin. So I often have to do like 2 coats. If that happens too, you could always mix it. Like my white is actually pretty thick. So I might even mix some of my yellow with my white, a little bit of white into my yellow, just to like keep it a little bit thicker and a bit more opaque. But really it depends on how yours is looking, right? So you have to kind of make that judgment depending on what it's, how it's looking on your side, how your paint or how your brushes are treating you. So I'm going to go with, I have a really, really fine point brush that I used to do this branch. But I'm going to go with another thin brush, but it's a little bit thicker. So this one I think is a number 3, also from like the dollar store. So it's a little bit thicker. And I think I'm going to use that for my leaves. So let's start with yellow. So I'm just going to dip my brush right into my yellow paint. Okay. And these are pretty easy. So we're just going to like dot it on. So let's say we're going to do like, there's like a big clump that's like lives like here, right? So let's just like put yellow kind of like where we want it, where we want this clump. Well, maybe pick a spot that's still not wet with black paint. That wasn't so smart. If that happens, just get more yellow paint on your brush and it will drown out your black. So I'm just gonna kind of clump it on like this. Bunch of yellow. Just dab a little bit more, a little more. Okay, so I just have yellow like that. So it just looks like a weird yellow. Get rid of some of the black that I did by accident. Okay, there we go. now, let me just wipe that off a bit. I'm gonna get my orange paint and I'm going to build that in to my yellow. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to blotch it. Into there. We have yellow, we have orange going on. Okay, and just because we went to orange, I'm going to put a little bit more yellow back over into the orange. And you might want to do multiple layers. Like you might want to do one layer now, and then when it kind of dries out a bit, you can always go back and do another layer as well. The more layer of paint you have, the more it's going to pop. Okay, so I'm going to get red and do the same thing. It's going to make this a little bit fuller. Just come out a little bit more here. Okay. And I want to have a little bit of brown too, so I'm just going to add a little bit of brown to the palette as well. Stick with it. It may look kind of weird right now, but it will start showing some shape. It will look really good as we continue going, okay? Sometimes when we, especially with acrylic's really funny, where there's going to be certain times when you're painting that it just looks very odd. Like it's just gonna, you're gonna be like, what am I doing? This is not right. And that's like the love-hate relationship of acrylic. Okay, so that's what I have so far for that one area there. Okay, and I'm gonna move on to another area. I think maybe not yet. Actually, I want to get a bit too. I'm gonna get some more yellow, orange in my yellow, so I feel like it's a little too much, like a separation of lines. I'm gonna get a little more yellow in here. I'm gonna get more yellow in here. Yeah, like that. Let's mix it up a little bit more, and I think that looks a little better. Okay, clean that off too. Okay. Okay, let's go to a different one and play. Okay. So again, I'm gonna get some yellow, and I think, so these are really cool because they kind of like jump up. So we can do that as well. So we can have some of these leaves kind of like filter off into like the air. Like there's not even like a branch technically at that point. But we have this, like a few of these leaves that just like hover. I like that. It's cute. And they all kind of go up. So some dots. There too. These ones come down as well. Just have fun with it, and you can just do yellow first, really, if you want, and then you can go back. I think I'm having fun with doing some of these dots. I'm going to continue with them for a bit, and then I'm going to go back and do some more. There's also like a big bunch of things over here too. Here. So let's go and get some orange going on. Get some more orange from here. Okay. So I'm just going with some orange and just doing some on top of those yellows that I did. Just little dots. I'm just going to bring out, because some of these ones don't have as much yellow in them, so I'm just going to bring out the leaves here. So I want these to still stay very yellow, but I do want a little bit of that orange to come up. There's a kind of a big one here. Okay. I'm gonna go get some yellow. So I'm just gonna go back and forth between my orange and my yellow and my red. And then you're just gonna basically just dot the paint on the way you want, the way you're kind of liking it to be. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Like I said, just try to keep the lighter at the top. So it's mostly yellow at the top, but then you're gonna have the mix come in as well, or else it doesn't really look very natural if you just only have like a straight line of yellow, right? Like you still need to bring in a little bit of that yellow into the bottom, and you want to bring in a little bit of the darkness into the top as well, just so that it looks natural, like there's going to be some. And the more layers you do, the better this is going to look. Okay, so there we go. A nice like area there. Hi, Heather. That's a little bit darker, which is nice. Okay. Some more red up here. Sometimes I like just stick with one spot at a time because then I kind of forget about them. So, yeah. When I started a bunch of different spots, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta go back there. Put some more colors in there. So like I said, I'm not switching my brush up. I just keep dipping it into the new colors as I want to go. Sometimes I might wipe it with a paper towel, but I'm not using water because I don't want to dilute the paint at all. Like sometimes, again, if I put too much water, it may stay on the brush a bit. So I still want it to be very fluid, or not so fluid, I should say. Fluid with paint, not water. And if you're finding that your brush is working really well, great. If you're not, switch it up. Pick a different brush and see if you have different, if you like the way the leaves look better with it. Sometimes it isn't just you. So I know sometimes I feel like, oh, I'm just not good or this isn't working. But sometimes it's your tool. So if you're not liking what you're seeing, switch it up and play with a different brush and see how it's feeling with that. This one's working okay for me so far. So I like to add some more at the bottom there. But that's working. That's getting nice and full. Some brown in here too. So again, this has just like a lot of color play in it, right? So you just want to have fun with the colors. And so my brush is like covered in paint. There's like so much paint and I just keep adding more to it. Like I said, I like to get the yellow back in there too. So whatever color you start with, I like to go back once you've put other colors on and then bring that back out to the front again. I think that adds more depth to it. It looks cool that way. Cute. Okay, so I'm going to do more down here. And wipe this down a bit. Okay, now it's looking really full and nice. It looks kind of funky because it's like weirdly because I haven't put any more down here yet. But see, as you add more, like it just gives more dimension to it. It just looks fuller overall instead of just like weird like floating blobs of color. So it ends up it works better the more you put on, which is nice. Okay, so let's go and let's do some down here. So this one kind of goes up and follows these. Orange. Have you guys watched Bob Ross lately? Ever since I've started doing these painting parties, it completely blows me away that he can do what he does in half an hour. When I used to watch them before, I was like, oh yeah, half an hour. You know, and or 40, you know, like they're so like quick. And he's using oils too, which is like how amazing, right? I don't know how he does it. Like all my paint parties are like about 2 hours. No matter how like there's a few I guess that were only like I think at the start I did have a few down, but I think it was because I was going so fast and I was a bit nervous. But it, yeah, like it blows me away now. It always did. Like, obviously, his paintings are incredible. But particularly the time it takes. Now I'm just like, how? Like, how do you do it? Magic man. just dabbing with some more brown in this area. Get a little darker. And I'll put a little bit in there too. Okay. Okay, and there are some leaves that are just like kind of coming down. So I don't know if they're like falling down or they're being held by these branches that we can't really see. Some are definitely just floating down. The windiness of this day. Okay. I'll put some random ones in spots because it can't just be flying off the bottom. That's weird. Yeah, that looks cool. So I'm noticing some of my paint strokes look a little bit funky, so I'm just going to go back in and just add some more dots and color as we go. Alright, that looks really neat. It's looking a bit funky because there's a lot of red there. Okay. Noticing some of my yellow, like I said to you guys earlier, my yellow is very like transparent, like it's very light, so I'm going to go over a little bit of that because I don't like how light it is. I'm going to put some more in here. Cool. This looks a little bit weird. I don't like that. Again, try to watch your brush. Like if you end up having a brush that's kind of making like a stamping motion, like thing, it's not going to look that great because it's going to look too uniform. So you want to try to like either switch a brush or like move the brush like back and forth just so you have kind of a different, I don't know, pattern that's going on. Oh, awesome. Hey, Donna. She writes, "Hi, Lisa. I love that you do your paintings live and are often your first attempt, not pre-done. Also, how you help us paint our own interpretations of other artists like Lisa Lorenz and Van Gogh. Have you ever tried one of Adam Young's paintings?" No, I don't know who Adam Young is, but I'm going to look him up. I'm very excited. I have another painter on the docket. Kind of funny I said docket because he paints boats. But that wasn't intentional. His name is Graham Herbert. So I found it's like a similar style-ish to Lisa Lorenz paintings. So that'll be coming up in the next couple weeks or so. It's going to take a long time to do, I think. It's one of those that look deceptively simplistic. But yeah, it's going to take us quite a bit of time. But yeah, no, I definitely will check out Adam Young. And yeah, I like that. That's, for me, it's what makes it fun. Like I really enjoy painting, and I think that, yeah, it's kind of fun to do it. Let's just try it and see how it goes, right? Like we're painting all together. Like I'm sharing my tips and my tricks and how I would approach it, but I'm not an expert. Like you guys might have way more experience, or you might try something and I want you to share it. So yeah, I'm coming to you as like a peer, not as someone who has intense knowledge. I just really love it, and I've been doing it for a while, and I think I do pretty good, so I'll share with you how I do it. But if you have a better technique or something that works nicer, yeah, like let us know because I am totally open to suggestions and ideas. And Martha says, love going slower, more control. Yeah, I agree. Um, yeah, I definitely like when in this, I don't know, like again, for this kind of thing, I could probably keep doing this. Like once it dries, I could probably do another layer on top of it and keep playing with the color and going back and forth. Just like I can do the water forever. So, yeah, I really like the color play on things. And again, like it looks a little bit different, but that's my own brush stroke, my own style. So yeah, it's kind of fun, right? Thanks, Jackie. Good. I'm glad you guys like it. Thank you, Cindy. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you are enjoying it. So we're still not done. We still have to put in our circle reflection things, which honestly, actually, we're pretty much done. We got to get some leaves in the water, and we got to get those, the ripples happening. Okay. Actually, it's not too bad. It's only been just over an hour. Actually, this might actually be a faster painting than normal. Weird. Of course, I say that, and then I'm like, oh, they always take a long time to do. Well, we're not done yet, so we'll see. We'll see. It might still take a bit longer. I'm just going to get some more yellow going here because I can see. So what I try not to do is if I want my leaf to be like opaque, so we know there's like a leaf that lives there, I don't want to be able to see the branch behind it, right? So that's why I'm going to go over a little bit with the yellow because I can still see the branch, and that doesn't really make sense in my head. Because if the leaf's covering a part of the branch, you shouldn't be able to see the branch. I'm really honored that you guys choose to paint with me. It's really cool. It makes me feel very happy because there's so many talented people who host and who are like, you know, actually professional artists. I want to get a little bit more yellow, like a few little smaller dots in here. I'm gonna do. That's what I want. Okay. Stop playing with the tree. Stop it. Okay. I'm gonna stop. Okay. I do want to put some leaves in the water, and I want to kind of go in this kind of pattern that we kind of created before. I don't know if I want to use this brush or not. No, I think I will. Okay. So when I'm using my acrylic paints, I'm trying to put like less paint on my palette and just keep adding the paint. It keeps the paint fresher because if you put big glob on your palette right at the start and then you end up not really touching it or not using it right away, then what happens is like it just dries out and it's not going to be as good consistency, especially if you're using cheap paints like I am. So I like to keep them in the airtight bottle and just keep adding it to the palette. So just another thing that I end up doing that might be helpful to you. So let's put a few little dots. And I want to make these a little bit smaller than what we were doing up there. I want them to be like little dots. I'm trying to not make them like, I don't want them uniform. I want some smaller, some bigger, some, you know, can look like the paintbrush, but some should be like different shapes. Let's move the brush a bit over and around. Okay. Got some orange in there. I'm going to get some red, but I think I want to dull out my red a little bit. I'm going to mix my red into my orange just to make it not as imposing. And I'm going to do the same thing. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. I'm gonna get a, there's not really any yellow going on, but I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow. Oh, don't go away. iPad screen. I need you. Okay, so I think that's looking kind of cool. I don't know if you can really see it that closely, but I'm putting a bunch of little dots on there. Maybe I'll bring it a little bit closer so you can see it a little bit better. Yeah, right. My lighting, my lighting. So I'm just literally just putting like little dots in there just to kind of look like there's leaves hanging out. Look like little dots right now, but it works out. Oh, nice. Kim has one of Adam's paintings. That's really neat. And now I'm like super curious. I need to check this person out. That's what I'll be doing after the paint party. And I want some of these leaves kind of falling from here. Right? So we're going to have one that's going to come in here, another one's going to come here, and then we have another leaf that's going to come here. Now you can be really detailed if you got a really fine brush, if you want to actually like get like very detailed leaves, you can totally do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to add some more brown in here. That's a little bit much. Yeah, erase it with your finger. No one will know. Okay, you can kind of tell. Kind of can tell. It should be there. Get a little bit of white. There you go. That works. Okay. What I think I want to do is I want to for some of the ones that are more globby, I'm just going to streak them a little bit. Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. So now let's get our thin brush and let's paint those ripples. Okay, so there's a few things to these ripples. So you'll notice that there's obviously white that creates the ripple, right? And there's also a little bit of dark as well to kind of give it a little bit of shadow. So we're going to be putting both of those elements in here. Okay, so let's get our thin brush. And I think I'd like to start with the white. So I'm going to get a little bit of white paint on my thin brush. You're going to decide where you want this guy to live. Okay, let's give him the center point. So we're just going to do a little, it's like a little hook, little candy cane, sideways candy cane shape. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same type of thing. We're gonna make like a C, like a really like exaggerated C. Okay. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. We're going to come out a little bit further down though. More white. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to have this also come out. It's kind of like you're getting your like circles, but you don't want it to be complete, right? Because you can't see all that, so like in movement, right? So this is going to come around this way. Okay, so we have kind of a little ripple happening there. Okay, it doesn't look 100% yet because we still need to get those dark areas in. So I'm going to use my brown, I think. Yeah, I am. And we're going to go in, because right now we need to have it follow the way, like these curves that we just created, and give it a little bit of shadow, because when we put the white in, you can still see all the strokes that we have behind, and so it doesn't really have, it doesn't look like there's anything going on yet, right? But when you add this part, it will start to have a bit more movement. In the kind of like circular, like it will be like a more of a circular movement, right? Because underneath it you just have the streaks that we've had from before, right? Okay, there we go. So we have kind of like a whirlpool effect going on. I'm gonna get some brown around here too. Okay. So now we're going to have another one here. Let's get some white back on my brush. Okay, so this, have it a little bit higher up. I'm going to start with my biggest circle right now. Or oval, I should say. It's not really a circle. It's kind of like an oval. Okay, so we have another one in the middle there. It's a little funky here. And I'm going to go in and put the last one here too. So this one's going to be... Too much paint on my brush. Okay. Okay, so there's some ripples going on there. Oh, let's try not get our paintbrush on our clothes. So acrylic paint is water-based, but if it dries, it's permanent. So if you do get it on your clothes, you need to get it off your clothes as quickly as possible, or else you might as well just continue painting your clothes because you will have a new canvas to work with. I'm just going to go in and put some of the brown back in just to give it a little bit of depth to my circles, my ripples from the leaves, and maybe the water drops that are falling from I think it's the leaves that are creating the ripples, I think. I don't know. Okay. I keep looking back in here too. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for the compliments, guys. Really appreciate it. Oh, nice. Donna says she looked up Graham Herbert and she's looking forward to trying it. Yeah, his paintings are so colorful and bright and fun. When I saw them, I was like, I really want to do this. But as you probably saw, like they're gonna take us some time. They look like easy enough, you know, like they look kind of like I kind of look at it like as a coloring book, right? Like you have your outlines, you have your colors, but those always take so much time, but they're so satisfying when you're done. Okay, so I think I'm almost done with this one. I'm just kind of look at it to see if there's anything else I want to do with it. And I suggest you guys do the same if you feel like you're at that point where you're pretty much complete. I think I'm there. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, I think so. I don't know, I kind of feel like I want to attach some of this together. I think I'm going to. I'm going to attach like this big clump of like leaves with this one here. I want this one attached here, I think. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think that's good. I like that. I like that attached to that. It's kind of random. That's cool. Okay, cool. There we go. So I think what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to just sign it up. I'm going to use red. My initials right there. What's when my M's look weird? Awesome. There we go. So there's my completed fall reflection painting. So I'll snap a picture of this. Oh, like that. There we go. So I'll snap a picture of this and I'll put it as a post. So I'd like you guys to do the same if you've joined in. I'll love to see what you guys have created and how you've made it your own. So please take a picture and share. Thank you all for joining in. It was really fun. Okay, cool. So I'll make sure I got all the comments if there's anything else that you guys need before I sign off. So again, this video will be available under the videos tab. I'll also put it up on my YouTube video YouTube channel. Sometimes when I talk, I feel really old, like getting into these technologies. Yeah, so everything will be there as well. So if you guys have any, again, if you have any suggestions, I'm definitely going to check out, was it Adam, where are you? Adam something. Where are you? Where? Adam Young. There we go. I'm going to check him out after this. See, so if you guys have any other suggestions, any other paintings that you love and you'd like to try out, please send me a message and or send me a picture of it and we can see how we can go from there. Yeah, and we'll do some free paint parties. If you are interested in doing like a one-on-one session or if you want to do like a group or something like that for like a private event, also let me know as well, and we can figure something like that out, even though I've never really done that specifically, but definitely open for it. So yeah, thank you guys a lot. There'll be 3 new options on Saturday at noon, like always. This week, because next week will be Halloween, we're going to get a totally different vibe. It'll be kind of, I think you're going to enjoy it. I think they're kind of funny. So yeah, I'd love to see what you guys pick, and we'll be back again next Wednesday, and we'll painting together once again. All right. Have a fantastic week. Thanks so much.